Panchayat a little more. What is this Khap Panchayat? And also the Arya Samaj role, because North India, Gandhi was very much involved in this, in North India, mobilizing and building temples across this Bangis communities in Delhi and all. So could you speak about that? What is this Khap Panchayat also, and this context of Arya Samaj?
I mean, I myself has not done much of research on the Arya Samaj. Maybe I will just share it. But then Khap Panchayat, as you know, is the traditional justice. So traditional justice is pitted against the constitution. So one person, one vote, and equal before law, and equal human rights, fundamental human rights for all, is strongly contested and believed in by the Manudharma Shastra. Now, Manudharma Shastra, of course, it's like not only against Shudras, but now the Shudra line has been shifted to the caste untouchable line. So anybody below the line of touchability, if they dare to cross the line of touchability either through marriage or through asserting their rights at the time of such times of atrocities, or fight against any discrimination, or to demand equal treatment anywhere, equal wages. There are heinous crimes committed when they asked for wages. Two hands were chopped off last year
In Haryana?
Yes, 2 hands were chopped off, and I think you should put it also in your YouTube, that is there. A Dalit boy who was traveling in the cart, he felt very hungry, hot summer day, and he felt very thirsty. He stopped the cart, and there was a pot of water which is there meant for people, and he drank from that pot of water. And when he drank from the pot of water, a nearby group of youngsters, they are not very traditional old men or youngsters, asked, "Hey, aapka caste kya hai? Tumhara caste kya hai? Jati kya hai?" So then he just said, "Chamar." And they caught him, tied him, and as a lesson, they chopped his hands off. They literally chopped his hands off. And these are not proven criminals or anything like this. These are not people who had a very long history of crime records. They are not big robbery or very kind of, they are just people who believe that they are protecting and upholding the Manudharma Shastra. So, because there is this kind of a feeling that is there, people believe that it is their bounden duty to have law and order. And the law and order is very different from the law and order as per the constitution. So this is also believed by the police and some of the executive. So this clash, which at that time Baba Ambedkar said, we are now adopting a constitution which is having one person, one vote. We are now having a law where all persons are supposed to be equal, but still there is another system which is believing, this is the thing that he has foreseen, and this is the same thing. There is still a huge dominant population which is still in power, which believes that these are things which are anti their constitution, and therefore anybody who dares to cross this line should be taught a lesson. And taught a lesson is the atrocity that we are seeing.
They can be considered in the recent Pakistan incident where Malala acid was by Talibans. So can we consider these people also Indian Talibans of Khap Panchayat?
I think they should be considered, they should be named as terrorists as per our own constitution, because they don't respect our constitution. They are terrorizing the people. They are actually breaking the rule of law and totally destroying any way in which, so definitely I think we have to call them terrorists.
In this context, where some 17 rapes, at least on record, where the newspapers discusses 17 rapes have happened, But there is a, we are saying that there is no Dalit movement as such, as per, but still there is this lady, 16-year-old girl, coming forward and saying that no, I'll fight, where the newspaper published a report, a statement that I will fight for that. So that how do you see that? So that is that assertion of women coming out openly like that?
I mean, I do not know how much it could be ascertained, but after Mirchpur, I'm seeing a difference in the way this whole thing is being taken up. National Dalit Movement for Justice is a body which has been fighting for the effective implementation of the law to curb the atrocities. And it is saying break the impunity. And it is asking for actually relooking in our whole society and saying, let us cast out caste, throw out the caste. And if you look at that, and they were quite active along with other human rights organizations during Mirchpur. Now in Mirchpur, the word of mouth has spread across the state, where they said is, if you stand up and use law on your side, you can actually bring, you can challenge the Jat community. So because Mirchpur, because they lost faith, the case was still going on, and it was shifted from this Mirchpur to Delhi court, and I think 19 people were convicted. In Haryana, for the first time, a police constable was convicted, and there are 3 others who have been got some sort of other police officials who got some sort of punishment. And there is a severe punishment that has been gone on against the Jat community. Now, of course, it will be taken up in the High Court. We really don't know what is the thing, but we are fighting against it. But however, compared to the previous violence, where they have been lynched, Dalits have been lynched, where hands have been chopped off, where they have been thrown into the fire, things like that. This time, there is a sense that we too can fight the casteist terrorists. So there is a beginning of a trend, including in Dabra village, where people are beginning to see, come on, we too will assert. I think this is now going to heighten the kind of violence, because there is going to be a higher violence from the Jat community. There is also going to be an assertion, and the struggle will continue from among the Dalit community. So it is going to, I think, heighten. But I think over the next few months, I'm sure, state also cannot afford to turn a blind eye, and it has to have a very stern action, and we are pushing the state to see that it must instill confidence, otherwise it will not have right to rule the state.
Sir, many people after these atrocities and this rape case came on newspapers, there was many discussion among the Dalits, males, that why there is no movement coming out on this issue. For example, when Lakshmipeta or Karamchedu, Chunduru or Kailanji also in the recent past. So there is some kind of a movement coming out. But why when the rape comes? Can I see like that?
Probably, I mean, you can have many reasons. The lack of social movement, the history, the kind of non-presence of networks, major networks with movements in that particular state. I don't know whether maybe the wider social realm, there could be the reasons. But slowly I feel it is beginning now. As of yesterday, several women's organizations, Dalit organizations, human rights organizations have gone together and had a rally in about 5 or 6 districts in Haryana. IDWA was one, All India Dalit Mahila Adhikar Manch is another one, NCDHR, National Dalit Movement for Justice, and several other women's organizations were very active, and they have taken this up. So let's see, let's hope for the best, and then see that it will pick up in the days to come.
So, in the last question in relation to this whole issue, so you were speaking about the Prevention of Atrocity Act, which is under the Act, the state has to notify some of the districts as one of the atrocity-prone areas. In the NDTV discussion, you were saying in Haryana, not a single district has been notified. That is one. And also, as you were speaking earlier, the Prevention of Atrocity Act doesn't come for prevention. It comes only after you go to police station, not for prevention.
After that.
So could you just explain the post?
Yeah, I think again, National Dalit Movement for Justice has been fighting for amendments to the Prevention of Atrocities Act. And what it has had several consultations across the nation, and in about 12 states it has had wide rallies and also consultations, and a set of clear amendments have come. Two areas. One, continuing the criminal justice, and in the second also to treat some areas as under civil justice. So which means first of all, to make sure that there is effective justice, so fast courts are to be included, fast track courts, strengthening the victims' rights, witnesses' rights, and then making sure the punishment under the SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act is streamlined as per the other penal code. There's an IPC, Indian Penal Code. Indian Penal Code is much stronger when it is non-SC/ST, like for example torture. And we are saying, streamline it. So crime under whichever kind of special law or IPC section should be the same. Compensation, it should be the same. Compensation should be 5 lakhs if it is say custodial death. Now why is it here different? So those are one set of amendments which we are asking. Another is preventive aspects, like for example review. Review is a very important aspect. So which is what? Review the performance under the Act. Now in Haryana, you see, no Chief Minister has not even formed the state mechanism for review. So a district monitoring committee, state monitoring committee has not been formed. So then also under the Act, you are supposed to identify atrocity-prone districts. Most of the states have at least named certain districts where the number of crimes tend to be more, have been identified. Haryana, not a single district has been identified. So you don't have a preventive aspect that is coming into the Act. So we are asking for a much more preventive Act to be brought in, and so that the Act will be there. And then another aspect that we are asking is that the real prevention also comes in when it prevents discrimination. Now there is not a single Act which prevents discrimination in the Prevention of Atrocities Act. For example, if you discriminate me in recruitment, if you discriminate me in classroom, if you discriminate me in the mess, there is no Act till now. So we are telling the Minister of Social Justice and also the Minister of Law that as long as in this society that you leave this entire attitude or mindset which says that if a person is born by birth is different, is from a different one particular type of caste or a background, then one can treat him or her in any way with abuse, with discrimination. That is not going to help in any way bring the justice into this country. So we are asking for these amendments, and anytime there may be, and there is a large on the, it is about 60 years, 63 years of independence, and over 25 years after this act had come into force. So we are having a large mobilization of about 60,000 people to Delhi to impress upon the central government to pass the act and also ensure strict implementation.